Rachel, thanks. All right, 7:02 right now, and this morning, state lawmakers are heading back to the Capitol for the start of the legislative session.
They got a lot to talk about. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us live in Hartford with just a bit of a breakdown of the biggest issues that are on the table this year. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. And we've got a lot of different issues to talk about, as you mentioned, but I do want to first break down how this opening day of the session is going to work. So lawmakers are going to be in the building in person to start things off. Both chambers are expected to gavel in around 10 o'clock this morning, and then after that at noon, Governor Lamont is expected to address the full General Assembly to lay out his legislative proposals. Now, at the top of that list, one of the items that the governor is looking to make progress on is addressing gun violence in Connecticut. The governor has proposed $64 million in a package that he says will support doubling the number of officers trained on the state and local level, as well as helping departments hard hit by this pandemic. Now, in addition to that, the governor is also proposing legislation on that issue. One proposal would establish a gun tracking task force to identify the source of illegal guns, while another would create a statewide community violence intervention program. Now, Senate Democrats are on board with the plan, but Republicans think there needs to be a little bit of a different approach. Take a listen to both sides.
Connecticut is the fourth safest state in the nation. So we can't forget that. Again, let me just repeat that. Connecticut is the fourth safest state in the nation. We're very fortunate with a lot of the work that we've done on crime prevention over the last decade. But anytime we have violence, whether it's in our cities or in our suburban areas or rural areas, we need to pay attention to that, and we need to do all that we can to help mitigate and eliminate those crimes.
But we also have to look at making sure that there are the proper support systems and services in place so that people don't look to crime in the first place. It's a nice distraction, quite frankly, away from what I think is the underlying problem here in our cities and across the state of Connecticut. And that is that there's not a lot of hope and opportunity. We have an economy that is not performing for our citizens.
So gun violence on this agenda by the governor. Other items on the agenda for the legislature this year, those also include extending some of the governor's executive orders around this pandemic, mental health care, tax cuts, and addressing juvenile crime as well. Now, once again, public hearings and committee meetings, those will be held remotely at least for the rest of this month, and that will be reevaluated. And politics are expected to play a bigger role this session because it is an election year. Governor Lamont is facing re-election in November, as well as the entire Democratic-controlled General Assembly. Now, on this opening day of the session, protesters also expected here outside of the Capitol. They want to make their voices heard on that issue of ending the school mask mandate.